Welcome to Talk of the District. My name is Marguerite Reinberger. For years and years, our wonderful accomplishments in both the arts and athletics have gone hand in hand with academics. We've just excelled in as many years as I can look back, for sure. Today I have Ricky Michel, and he is the district's athletics, I'm going to get this right here, the district's activities director.
Correct.
You've given a lot
Correct.
of titles here. Now,
Correct.
is this the official title here, right?
This is the official title.
Okay, but you do a lot, I know that. He's with us here today to share the many, many accomplishments we've had both in the arts and the athletics, so thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Ricky, even a rough estimate would suffice, although you may have a real tight number. What percentage of our district students participate in fine arts and or athletics?
About two-thirds, about
Okay.
68% of our students participate in fine arts or athletics.
Is this at all age groups?
This is grades 10 through 12.
Very nice. What are the costs and the benefits of participating in them? I think a lot of people think, let's get rid of them. You know, let's just focus on the academics. We don't see any value in the other, or if there is value, maybe do it on your own time. Don't have it as part of the school district.
Costs for the district, the total cost of the athletics portion of it is about $1.25 million.
Which is what percent of the biggest
We are
budget?
1.6% of the total budget.
Oh,
We are a
wow.
very small piece of the total budget.
That is interesting.
Yes.
Where does the other income come from to sustain those multiple athletics?
Well, part of it is we get fees. We draw fees from the participants. In athletics, they pay $150 per sport
Okay.
as they go out. And in the fine arts, select women's choir, vagabonds, and those types of things, it's a $75 fee.
Do you know what percent of the district money goes for the fine arts?
It's approximately, it's slightly less than 1% for the fine arts. So we're looking at somewhere between 2.5%, 3% total.
Value-wise, moving off the finances, what things does it do for an individual to participate in either or type of activity?
If you take a look at statistics and if you take a look at just general research on the subject, the more students are involved in school, the better they do academically in school, the more they stay connected to the school. We take a look at, part of our things is, after everything's been said and done with the levy, we've taken a look at the top performing students at Stillwater High School, the 150 top performing students academically by GPA on a non-weighted system, and 92% of those students are involved in either athletics or fine arts or both.
Interesting.
If we take a look at the bottom, the lowest 150 grade point averages of students, 52% of those students are not involved in extracurricular activities of any
Okay, let me
kind.
just throw out a possibility. Is it they're not involved because they're so overwhelmed with academics that they don't have the, they just
That could
can't-
be, or the interest. They're just not interested in being involved in extracurricular activities.
Now, this is a huge topic they've given me in a half hour, and for you too. So let's concentrate on, first of all, what programs exist in our district in the fine arts area.
In the fine arts, we have speech, we have debate. Those are Minnesota State High School League sponsored. We have one-act play, which is Minnesota State High School League sponsored. Then we have orchestra, band, choir. Of the choirs, we have Women's Select, we have Belle Chante, we have Vagabonds, we have Varsity Choir. Of the bands, we have Varsity Band, we have Symphonic, we have Jazz. Of the orchestras, we have Varsity Orchestra, we have our highest orchestra. There are 3 different levels of orchestra too. So we have different levels that kind of meet the needs of the students' skills, and students advance through those levels as well.
Oh, now, did you forget any? Because I'll hear about it. Trust me. They'll see me in the community. They say, but he missed some. Now, remember, you've had 3 years in this position.
I have.
You just read them off so well, But if you missed any, I'm the one who's going to get the
You know
hit
what?
on this.
If I have, I will continue to think about it through this discussion, and if I pick one up, I might stop and say,
Okay.
oh yes, that.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Now tell me the various accomplishments that have occurred within these activities, the fine arts.
Fine arts, superior ratings in band over the last I think we have a 33-year running record of superior ratings. Orchestra, we have approximately 31 years of superior ratings.
Who's determining these superior ratings? What do they mean? Because
What
I think for you, you're so
You
used
bet.
to it that you're not even thinking this is, the origin, and what for us, it's like, okay, what's this all about?
What happens is our bands, our orchestras, and our choirs perform, and they perform in front of judges. And then those judges will evaluate and rate the effort and the quality of those particular ensembles, groups, and
And the judges are from where?
the judges vary throughout the state of Minnesota, and all schools are rated, and we've done well.
Do you
over
think
the
we have a
years.
halo effect where even if we kind of didn't do as well, we'd still get it? Are they pretty strict in how they determine superior ratings?
The parameters are pretty strict as far as what they deem superior, and I know that reputation. Some people think that reputation comes into play a little bit.
Expectation, reputation, but expectation can actually go
Correct.
against you.
Correct. And we've been fortunate that we've had some extremely talented students that have come through year after year after year. And let's not take it for granted. We've had wonderful instruction.
Yeah.
The people who lead our band, orchestras, and choirs are phenomenal, and they are highly respected throughout the state.
How do you get them? Because they have been very phenomenal over the years.
I'm fortunate that I was grandfathered into them. Jerry Jones, Dennis Lindsay, Eric Christiansen, Angela Mitchell, those people are phenomenal.
George
and
Regis.
they were here. George Regis. We've just had
Yeah.
great quality.
I know there's so many more that we haven't mentioned. I know that.
That's
so
right.
No need to tell me. I remember, but we could have a long program on names alone. Okay, now we've talked about the ratings and all the wonderful accomplishments within some of the music programs. How about in the other fine arts, the speech? I know that you guys are in the news on that.
Speech and debate. This is the state tournament for debate this
Right
weekend.
now.
And Laura Hammond is our new coach. She's in her first year. She has done an incredible job. We were fortunate to have Jim Grobner for years. And Jim is if there was this debate Hall of Fame, Jim would have
he's a
been in
legend.
there. He is a legend. And we were fortunate to get Laura on as a coach. We even got Jim's blessing when we hired Laura. So she's done well. And she will carry that over into speech as well. The last couple of years, Stillwater has not had a speech team, but we've brought it back, and we are going to do well.
Okay, did we miss any other of the fine arts activities?
One act play is coming back. Harry Tollefson is our advisor for one act play, and again, we haven't had a one act play entrant in the Minnesota State High School League for the last 2 years, but we are entering this year, and we look forward to that.
And many of the students who are in the fine arts will go on and perform professionally and/or major in college in that area. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Which is very
It's
exciting.
amazing. It's amazing how many students are offered scholarships through their music abilities, their fine arts abilities.
Well, let's turn our attention to athletics. Many, many sports. How many?
We have 34 total.
And would you care to name some? Because I'm worried that I don't want you, just as many as you'd like, just a summary of a few.
Okay, we'll start with, because we're in winter, we'll go with boys and girls alpine skiing, boys and girls Nordic skiing. We have boys and girls basketball, boys and girls hockey, wrestling, gymnastics. That's about the winter. I'm missing a couple, I know that.
At least you're honest.
Yes.
His fault.
Yes.
And then go into spring. summer.
Spring we'll have baseball, softball, boys and girls track, boys and girls lacrosse. We'll have boys tennis. I think that's most of them.
Okay.
In the fall, boys, girls soccer, football, volleyball, girls swimming. We have boys swimming in the winter. We have adapted soccer in the fall.
And what is that for people who
Adapted
don't know?
soccer is, we are in the CI, the cognitively impaired division.
That
for the
doesn't sound very good.
Well, it's our athletes in CI, they have to have an IQ of 80 or below
Oh,
to participate.
I see. How great
It's
is
adapted
that? That's
soccer.
a wonderful program.
Phenomenal. And we are
I thought
we
you
are
meant
actually,
we were on probation. or
No,
something.
no,
Okay,
no.
Okay,
We've been fortunate. We've had,
that's terrific.
the numbers have gone up. We've had about 18 to 20 participants. We run a varsity level and a junior varsity level. We host the state tournament every year for adapted soccer.
That
And
is fascinating.
It
to
is.
me.
It's a wonderful thing, and I think it's a great event for our school, for our
Terrific.
community.
For the students, it's outstanding.
Correct. And it's fun to watch when our adapted team plays in the fall. Oftentimes our football players will come in to watch them. Our boys and girls soccer players will come in to watch them, to try to give them support as much as possible.
Okay, how new of a program is that? How long?
Adapted soccer is actually, we've gone, I would say the last 10 years. We've actually won state twice in adapted soccer.
All right, I got to
So-
be reading Thol's column more. Okay. Okay, tell me, obviously accomplishments in that area. In what of the other areas of sports?
Well, let's talk cross country.
Yeah,
Boys
and then
cross
make sure
country.
football, because I'll
Yeah.
definitely be told I didn't cover that well enough.
Boys cross country, they are actually running in nationals this weekend out of Portland, Oregon. They are the state champion out of Minnesota. They are the region champion out of the Midwest. They are phenomenal. Scott Christensen has been a state championship coach in cross country 4 times. I think the reputation of his leadership and the reputation of the boys program is second to none in Minnesota. Of course, we've got a football team. Football is rich in tradition. It's the most popular sport in Stillwater as far as a fan base. Football team went 7-3. We had a new head coach, Bo Labor.
Yep, met him once.
And you know what? Our transition went quite well. If you take a look at all the schools around the metro that got new football coaches, we were fortunate enough. Bo had the winningest record amongst teams in our area. I think the only one who had a higher winning percentage his first year was Brooks Bollinger over at Hill Murray.
What a nice guy, too, Bo is.
Great.
I had him on a program.
Phenomenal.
Just, real humble.
Yes. Players really enjoyed him. And he
tell
was
people where he
fortunate.
came from.
Came from South St. Paul.
Oh, yes.
He graduated from South St. Paul. He was a St. John's graduate, and he will let you know that.
Oh, yes.
He coached from Woodbury. Woodbury was his
That's the one I was
previous
really
stomping
getting at, because
ground.
everyone knows that.
And we dealt with that on the first game
Yes.
when we
Yes.
had the matchup with
played
Woodbury to
Woodbury.
open the season. How ironic.
How'd that go?
It was very good for the Ponies. Wasn't great for us because we had a power outage with about 2 minutes to go in the game. Lights went out in the stadium because a transformer blew in Lake Elmo, and
And
we got through it.
And you liked the stadium. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was a long time in coming, too.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
In somewhat controversial on the name and all that, and probably still continues a little, but
Yeah,
maybe not.
you hear rumblings here
Yeah.
and there, but I think we got through it.
And basketball team?
Basketball team, boys basketball team has not started yet. They will start. They will open the season Tuesday against St. Paul Johnson at home. You might as well figure out what it's going to be like to play one of the best teams in the state right off the bat.
Yeah.
Johnson will be they're a perennial power in Class 3A basketball. Our girls opened last night against Edina, and didn't go fairly well for us. We took it on the chin against the Hornets, but tomorrow afternoon, hopefully we'll bounce back against Rochester Mayo.
How many of these activities do you attend?
I try to get to all of the home activities, and I'm not very good on the road. I do travel on the road a little bit whenever I can.
Like that Portland might have been okay. But,
That would have been
but
good.
But go on.
Although I will say, Denise and I, my wife and I, went out to Sioux Falls to watch the regionals.
Good.
I took her on
It's
a
a nice
date.
city.
It was
Yeah, it
phenomenal.
is.
It was a one-day date
Yeah.
that we went on.
Ooh, you outdid yourself, Ricky Michael. That's good. Well, where do you see the future with both? First, let's do fine arts. We had 3 levies fail. 3, I shouldn't say levies, but 3 requests on the ballot fail in November.
Yes.
Okay, how will that impact, or do you know yet how it will impact? Let's look at fine arts first.
Okay. Fine arts. We're fortunate that we have phenomenal teachers. I think they're going to make this transition go as easy as possible. That said, I'm sure there are going to be some numbers issues that they might have to deal with that they haven't had to in the past. I'm sure that the workload, the expectations of them are going to be much more intense. And we're going to try to support them as much as possible. The events, the concerts, the holiday concerts, the yearly concerts, the end of the year, that's pretty much a set, done deal. We will continue with those events. I think that when the public looks at it, the public may not see a whole lot of difference in the amount of productions that we have during the course of a year. But that being said, I think the pressure is on the teachers. And that's something that you can't see physically. I think that they're going to be under the gun. I think they're going to be stressed out a little bit more. And but they're great. And you know what? And you make it happen.
Exceptionally talented.
It's one of those things. It's a pride thing. It's a pride thing.
I know it is.
You know that you're going to put students on the stage to perform. You don't want to have those students be anything less than their best, because it's a reflection of them, it's a reflection of the school, and internally as the teacher, it's a reflection on you. And they're not going to let that thing
And
drop.
it's a survivability too. If you have a poor program, you don't have that future coming in.
Correct.
And tell me about revenue stream. Will you be asking for more money for them to participate, or to view, in, let's say, the concerts and that? Have you even gone that way yet?
You know, the initial talks have taken place. I think I would be lying if I didn't say that there has been we've been looking at increasing fees on the athletic side, increasing fees on the fine arts participation or activities part of it. That has to happen. There's got to be a way that you can increase some of the revenue. As far as admissions to events and things, we're kind of limited in what we can do, because our conference on the athletic side, our conference has a policy.
That's right.
What you can sell tickets for. And we have to go with those restrictions that they give us.
Right.
On the fine arts side, I think the balance is you want the public to come out and see the talent of these students, and you don't want to outprice yourself. You need the support of the public, but we need the public to come and see the exceptional work that these students do.
What was the feedback from the students? Did you hear things when those failed, the requests failed? Was there a lot of concern? Because they're all sitting there, whoa, 10 million are now, 10 million somewhere within the district is supposed to now be just slashed like that. And no group seems immune from that. What was the feedback from parents? They all must be worried that they're going to be on the chopping block. You have a lot of programs under you.
From the student standpoint, I don't think that the students have enough. They have enough information to kind of make a decision right now. I think they know that their world will be impacted a little bit.
Yeah.
From the parent side, I think the parents of children who are going through the school system right now, they're realizing that, oh my goodness, this did not pass. There's probably going to be a lot more user fees as my children
Not the
progress
fear
through.
of the program being cut itself?
What we've done is we've taken a look at, we want to try to keep all of our programs in place as best we can. That being said, it's going to put more pressure on advisors. It's going to put more pressure on the fine arts teachers, the coaches, to think of new ways and creative ways to try to raise revenue, to try to raise funds. That will be a challenge for them. In our office, our challenge is, what can we possibly cut that won't impact our students?
Wow.
And you know what? We're at bare bones in some areas. There's not a whole lot more we can do. But there are a couple of recommendations that we've passed along to the principal.
Okay, and you probably can't share right now.
Correct,
right, 'cause
not
it's
right
internal.
now.
That's okay, right. I hope that you come back and share, so people know how the election results impacted the arts and the athletics, because I'm sure they will have an impact, and that's expected, unfortunately. But it will be interesting to see how almost like seamless you can make the change, so people aren't like, and yet that's a bad thing too. I mean, it's like you can't win on that.
It is. Part of, I think, because I went to Stillwater High School, part of the success of Stillwater High School is the numbers of participants we've had over the years. From way back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. That is what has helped to make Stillwater, not only on the athletics side, but on the fine arts side. And what we want to do is we want to try to promote and keep our participatory numbers up. We think that that's key for the success of our school and our school district.
Absolutely. Even though that might mean more money from parents who may not have it.
You know what? If we adjust the fees, if there's a raise in fees, which is likely,
yes,
there is probably going to be more of our families asking for relief, asking for help. And
the district does have a fund like that?
We do not have a fund currently like that. We have in our district, if you're on the free lunch program, fees are waived for participants.
Oh, okay.
That is one thing that we have done over the years.
Nice.
If you're struggling, we have made accommodations, we've made arrangements so that fees can be paid over the time rather than upfront the money right away.
Yeah.
We don't want money to be an issue to prevent a student from participating. Right. And we think that that's very important. We don't want this to be a haves versus have-nots. We are all in this together.
That's great. Comparable size districts, do we have just a ton more activities both in the arts and the athletics, or about the same?
When you compare us to Eden Prairie,
Right.
Minnetonka, Wayzata, we're the same.
We're the same.
Yep,
okay.
we are the same.
Oh, very. Are there any programs that we don't currently have in either area, arts or athletics, that you would like our district to have? Anything that's been asked for?
No, you know what? We have a couple of things that we've taken on new. We've taken on a martial arts, which is an independent provider. We've had a bowling program. We have a bowling team. The bowling team actually won the conference this year. They're in their second year of existence. We offer opportunities in equestrian. We offer opportunities in figure skating. So there are some things that the school district does not pay for that we look outside the school district to provide a program for our students who are interested, and we offer that up.
You hear the word robotics a lot. Is that an activity?
It is. It is,
and
it's
that was
actually,
one of those that you just might have
correct,
forgotten, and I'm trying to help
and you know
here.
what? You're doing well. Todd Kapsner is actually one of our main advisors for robotics.
Popular.
And robotics is actually, this is the first year that the Minnesota State High School League has recognized robotics. Last year I went to the University of Minnesota to watch the robotics competition, and our hope was we wanted Stillwater to advance to the finals. And it's really kind of neat because what happens is the schools get a package. They get a package of mechanical things, and this is what you have to build your robot with. And all of the
details,
schools,
no idiot-proof instructions like I would.
Nope. All the schools get the same package. So all the schools are making their robots out of the same materials.
Can they add other things, or
They
just
can. This is what they have.
Yeah.
They can tweak it.
Okay.
And then what they do is they go to the University of Minnesota, and there are other competitions throughout that year. I think there were two others. There's a big one in Rochester. But we went to the University of Minnesota, and they'll team up with a couple of other schools, and they'll go against other schools. They'll have different competitions throughout the day. Then what will happen is the schools that perform the best in those competitions, they actually will make the top 10, top 12. And what they will do then is they will draft of the teams that did not make the top 12 or top 14, I forget what the number is, but they will draft out of the remaining schools. And our hope last year was we were going to get drafted. We actually finished not far from the top, I think it was the top 16. We actually didn't, we didn't finish much below that, but nobody drafted us, unfortunately.
Well, get going.
So we didn't get.
Get out there, more strategic. Go on some of those road trips if you have to, just to
we'll
get
have
out
to
there.
We'll have to tell Mr. Kapsner to make some connections with some other schools.
Absolutely.
Have our kids be a little bit more social with
Yeah,
some
right.
other schools.
Or the athletics director.
That's
means
right.
You.
That's right.
Yeah, get your act together and kind of hit this whole thing up and that.
Do a little schmoozing.
What are you most proud of? What do the students accomplish that you're most proud of in these various activities that you oversee?
I think the most fulfilling, self-fulfilling part of the job is I get to work with students and coaches and advisors who enjoy doing what they do. And I get to see them in a different arena, in a different setting outside of the classroom. And they truly do enjoy what they do.
And they both, the athletics and the fine arts, they enrich the student's life. I mean, I don't see how you can argue otherwise.
Correct.
If you haven't been involved, then maybe you could say that.
Yep.
Okay, like maybe it doesn't, but it does. I mean,
It does.
anything you do, and it moves you forward. I mean, you can always look back and use some of the things that you gain, the confidence, the team playing, the creativity, and so many different things. What do you wish, anything at all? Hey, it's Christmas time. Any wish list from Santa for your activities? Stay away from Denny Blue. But anyhow, slash. I know he's great. But anyhow, anything that you would want.
On my wish list,
Yes.
I would wish that we could offer the same opportunities for students. If it were a perfect world, we could offer these opportunities for free. That would be a perfect world. My next wish would be, I wish we had a multi-use surface. I wish we had turf
Okay.
for our stadium so that our teams could practice and we wouldn't have to worry about the wet grounds, the beat-up grounds. I wouldn't have to worry about the spring practices when the snow never melts and get your teams running on that surface. Those would be my top
Sure.
two.
You know, I just thought as you were talking, I thought when you were mentioning the surface and that, we got to remember some of these. We talked about some of the activities, the fine arts, big legends. But there were also George Thole, and there's been others in the athletics. Would you name a few that you're aware are still in this area? Because they made our program.
Oh, there's no question. When you look at Stillwater Athletics, you have George Thole. I think we're fortunate right now. We have many Hall of Fame coaches still with us toward the tail end of their careers. You have Judy Luzich.
Yeah.
You
Wow,
have
she's
Scott
amazing.
Christensen.
Yes.
You have Phil Johnson in soccer. We
Judy's
still
in
have
swimming and
Judy is
yeah.
in swimming. We've got Brian Luke.
Yeah.
I mean,
Swimming.
we have been very fortunate that we have such great coaches that are still sticking with it, even though some of them have retired from teaching. Yeah. They have so much passion left. We had, Len McGuire back there. We still have Bill Simpson coming around, and that's just phenomenal.
It is great.
For these people to pass on their passion to our youth is phenomenal.
Boy, they want their programs that they work so hard on to stay alive. And it's not only survive, but thrive. I'm sure of that.
Correct. And we're fortunate that we get, there is a pride in Stillwater about that. On the music end and the sports end, where the community does rally around us. They do support us in a lot of ways.
All right, Mr. Director, is there anything that we have not touched on that you would like our viewers to know in the terms of accomplishments or just overall anything in athletics and fine arts?
For this weekend, you probably want to keep in touch with ESPN because our boys cross country is in Portland. I think if you log on to xnnation.com, it's the Nike National Cross Country Championships.
And this program will likely run this week.
Yep,
so